is up, my Transformers family? Welcome back to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan, and we are back. Today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Evolution Origin Autobot Jazz from the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Transformers line. Here is the yellow Buzzworthy all about Bumblebee packaging. It's a yellow package. We got Bumblebee down here on the front. You see Jazz in this environmental friendly plastic-less box. Right there, side of the box is an image of the artwork, and it tells us about the plastic-free packaging. Hooray! Back of the box is the product shot of what he can do in his different modes. We have Transformers Legacy Evolution right there. Hasbro Authentic. And on this side, we got a piece of Optimus RC Megatron. And it carries over back to Bumblebee. And this is the box. Now, when I did my Generation 1 Jazz review, I talked about how I was disappointed that the Siege line didn't give us a Cybertronian Jazz. But we get him in this packaging, in this line. And then they can't just keep the same name on all the toy lines. They got to keep calling it something else. Confused me. When I first heard about the Buzzworthy line, I didn't know it kind of went hand in hand with the Siege and Earthrise and all that. It's just a different packaging. But let's get this guy open and go from here. Nothing further in the box. Honeycomb deco right there. Here's his instructions. Some lint. Do not choke on your figure. Oh, wait, oh, there it is. Warning. Jazz out of here. And I was so hoping we got this guy. And I'm actually glad we didn't get this dude in the Siege line, because I did not like the techie patterns and all the ports they put on the Siege guys. Even though they were good looking toys, but those ports and those patterns just was too much for me. But he looks good out of the box. A little stubby cartoon accurate chest right there. We'll check his cartoon accuracy. We have a bit of weaponry here. Let's rip into it. Suspect. No, we have the gun, and we have like the grappling hook that he used on the first episode when he rescued Optimus Prime. The gun is done in all black, which is kind of disappointing. We hoped it would have been silver or a gray, but this is what we got. So let's get this stuff out of the way and go forward. All right, before we take a look at Jazz, I want to say I genuinely never thought we would see this guy in toy form. Not from Hasbro. I mean, third parties and people like that make all type of wish like list figures. Oh, he's like kind of stuck together. And I never thought we would get this guy. Now, I have hopes that we would get Wheeljack from the exact same episode, but we have Jazz right here. So let's take a look at Jazz. Let's bring him closer. Take a look at his head. Looks just like the cartoon Jazz, a lot like the Generation 1 toy. The visor is painted in a darker blue. Silver paint on the face, just a standard expression on the silver face. Black plastic head, has Autobot logo on his chest. Kind of wish it was outlined in white or silver. This whole chest piece is painted white over like a translucent blue. Yep, you can see it right there. That kind of, I would say highlights the headlights, but it could have been done in a lighter blue for me, but I guess they used the same plastic from right here. I wish they had used the white plastic from the forearms and just painted the headlights blue, the same blue that's right here. That would have been enough for me, because if this guy falls over, I'm going to chip the white paint right off of this guy. The shoulders and arms are up to the elbow are black plastic. The forearms are white plastic, black plastic for the hands. They have some molding details for the fingers. No real articulation here, just collapses for the transformation later on. Coming down to his waist, he has some gray paint down there. I wish they had hit it with the same silver from his face. Been a lot more accurate to me, in my opinion. Has some molding detail on his waist. On most Jazz figures, this is either blue paint or a sticker right here. Sort of like sideways L's. And right here on his legs, wish we had got this in the silver like the Generation 1 toy and other reiterations of Jazz. Some darker gray right here for the feet or the toe portions that articulate. I'll get to articulation in a minute. But mostly just plastic. Not a whole lot of paint going on. And the paint that I do have is done well. Checking out the back. He's wearing like a little bit of a backpack back here. Not too bad. So let's check out Jazz's articulation. We're going to 360 that head. I don't know if that's a ball joint in there. Jazz can look down about that much. We look up that far. We got some side to side going on. Coming to his shoulders. We get his shoulders up this far. Rotates at that same shoulder joint like that. Coming to his bicep. There's a bicep swivel full 360 out of that. Elbow bend. Getting this much out of it. And again, no articulation in the hands, but they do fold away for articulation, so I guess you can bend the wrist in some for posing. Coming to his waist, full 360 backpack. Backpack sort of kind of hits a little bit on this piece right here, but clears and turns around for a full 360. His waist, he has a waist articulation right here at the hip, front to back. Then he also swivels right here at the upper thigh, just below that articulation, full 360 out of that. You get a knee bend right there. And coming to his feet, they rock for a wider stance when posing and positioning our figure for display and for action. Buzzworthy Jazz comes with two aforementioned accessories. Here is his blaster. It is a take on the Generation 1 blaster. It's all black plastic. Again, wish we could have got some of that gray silver off his face on the gun, on his waist, and on his legs. He would have popped a little bit more, looked a little bit better, and matched up with some of the other figures. So we just put in his hands the same port peg from Siege, from basically all Transformers toy line. I think it's 9mm. I'm not really sure about that, but get in his hand. He holds it securely. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. And one thing, I wish they could have broken up all this black across here. It kind of just makes him look and feel like it's just pieces of plastic put together, which is what it is. But kind of, if he could have had some white on his shoulders, that would have been great. A little bit of paint. I might actually attempt to do it myself just to break this up. And we can remove his gun. I guess we could have put it in the other hand, but we can transform this hand and take his grappling hook, and it actually ports in right here. And he actually used this on episode 1 to shoot a line to Optimus Prime, while Optimus Prime was floating down the river. For whatever reason, these gigantic metal robots tend to float. And it's actually removable. I just accidentally discovered that. Maybe you can add a string or something to this and hydraulic Prime and have Prime catch it. I did not expect that. It's actually very cool. And again, we could have used some silver paint here. But that's pretty cool. I wonder if it fits onto the Earthrise Jazz. Alright, it's time to see how our Jazz looks next to the cartoon model. And they got a lot right here, like the chest, the paint work, even the Autobot symbol. I wish it was outlined in white, but they even got that correct. Down to the toes, the paint on the toes of the feet is correct. Only thing we needed was that silver gun, and I kind of wish the gray had been done in silver. I do realize like the cartoon went with a gray, but I really would have liked that silver so he can match up with some of the other figures that we've gotten from Hasbro thus far. Okay, speaking of other Jazz figures, here he is with Earthrise Jazz. And they're built different, of course, because they transform differently. Kind of looks like the same head. I mean, I know it would look like the same head because they're both Jazz. But honestly, no, there's a difference. Thought maybe it was just the paint doing it to me. But man, these heads are awful close, actually. Awful close. Like, of course, the visor is painted differently, but I don't know if my mind is playing tricks on me. Yeah, even the back of the heads. This may be the exact same head. Just a slightly different paint app on it. Okay, I do want to point out some of the things that I wish they had done. Like, I like the light paint over here better than what they did here, because you can kind of see some of the places where the blue is bleeding through the cracks from the blue plastic in some places. They didn't paint the waist. They didn't bother to paint the waist down here. Look how the silver just pops better under there. And on the legs. So that's done better over here with this version. We kind of didn't get that. We didn't get the blue paint at all. And with the line work in here, like, anybody could just add it, but you kind of wish they would do it for you since you're paying for the figure. And we turn them around. They're both wearing the roof of the car on their backs. Same thing going on there with some spoiler kibble on the back of their legs. Pretty much got the same thing going on. But if they had matched the paint up a little bit better, you can see the evolution from how he went from Cybertron mode to Earth mode a little bit better. And we're going to split these guys down the middle. We're going to bring in Generation 1 Jazz for early size up and rundown. Again, we got the chrome over here. We have the stickers for the waist. They became paint later on. Autobot symbols. Alright, they say 20 steps to transform this Jazz, but knowing me, it's going to take about 40. All right, we're going to collapse the hands because that's fairly obvious. See if we can unhinge this backpack a little bit. Okay, it's not going anywhere. It's up at the front of the chest. I'm going to bring this up over his face. I'm going to bring the arms down and around. We're going to rotate the arms out so these ports face out because they connect later on to the shell of the vehicle. Support right here for a peg, and rotate this around for a port right here. Now we bring this whole portion down over the arms and chest. I got this right. Over the front of the car and the windshield back. I might be doing this out of step. I don't know. I just know what I already see. We have to open this up to get this panel out. See if I can open this up without breaking it. Got to unhinge this. Okay, dang it. I see it, but I don't see where we... Okay, I got it. Let's open it up and unpanel this. This is the door. I've heard tales of these panels falling off very easily. Be careful with that. So we're just going to come over to this other side and do the exact same thing. Unhinge this part right here. Open this up. Panel the door out. Now we are according the legs down at this point into the lower leg. Like that. And bring this around. Let's close this up. I think. Okay, might need to close it up a little bit later. Same thing over here. Come over here. Apologize for not having the perfect transformations, but I like to figure it out as I go. Bring this down, close that up. Oh, let's bring the toes around, put the toes underneath the back of the car. Okay, let's put the two halves of the legs together. There's some pegs and some ports. Put the back of the car together. Bam, we got that. And this tabs into here if I can get it. Come out to the other side. Trying to force it. Hope I don't break it. All right, we got some forces going on now. Okay, the arms, I didn't rotate them the correct way. They rotate this way because there's a tab right there. It kind of helps hold the vehicle together. That's probably why I had to push so hard. Same thing over here. Still basically got it on my first try. So here we go. I think it's all tabbed in evenly. Boom, boom. And here's our Cybertronian mode Jazz that I thought we would never ever see. This kind of looks weird under here. Hopefully I got that correctly. Yep, there's a tab right here and a tab on the back of his hand. Let you know it's in there. I got in there correctly by accident. And boom. Here we go. Now there are no tires. I guess he hovered on Cybertron, but he doesn't hover. It's so cool. They gave us a little clear stand so he can hover.
Any luck, Jazz?
Negative. The north side of Cybertron's blacker than the inside of a drive shaft.
Okay, now he's hovering, but here he is in his Cybertronian mode. Looks fantastic. Love the translucent windows. He didn't have a lot of deco on him in the cartoon. They got the blue right on the front of the car, the back of the vehicle. The windows look good. The Autobot symbol looks excellent. There's some molded in detail. He has some vents on the front of the car just here, some line work in the hood. He has a port for the gun. We never seen him do it on a cartoon, but everyone nowadays must have weapon storage. I wish they had left it out so we can keep the roof intact on the vehicle. That would have been cool. I guess you can port it back here if you wanted to, and it seems to be a place to store it underneath. If you can get it in there, maybe you can store the gun underneath. Now let's see how he looks against the cartoon model he was designed after. And I don't have a really good pick for the cartoon model. I just got what I can grab, and here we go. See how he looks to you guys. I think he looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I cannot believe we actually have this. So here's Buzzworthy Jazz next to Buzzworthy Bumblebee. These guys look great together. Now I really think we are going to get that Wheeljack. One more Cybertronian mode comparison. Here he is with Starscream. And I said before in the previous video, I wouldn't mind if they redid these guys and try to get them a little bit more triangular. But he's supposed to be from that first episode and also modeled from the Siege line. Alright, jumping back into our robot mode, Jazz looks great in both modes. He actually pulls off and gets the job done of what he's supposed to do in both modes. I am truly impressed. But I'm going to continue on right now with the size up and a rundown. So here we go. Here's our Jazz next to Marvel Legends Silver Surfer, Toynami's Voltron Black Lion, G.I. Joe Classified Duke, Shockwave from Transformers Siege, Buzzworthy Cup, as well as Buzzworthy Bumblebee. A little G1 Love Redfoot Optimus Prime, and lastly Earthrise Optimus Prime Netflix edition. Okay, it's time to wind it down and break it down. This thing is a must-have for Generation 1 guys like me. I'm the 80s Transformers fan, and this is the toy I've waited on for 40 plus years to get into the toy line, the Cybertronian looking Jazz. It looks like the vintage toy, it looks like the cartoon. It looks fantastic in both modes. Now, it's not very impressive as far as deco and sculpting, but it doesn't need to be simplistic. It's the cartoon version, and it really, really excels in the vehicle mode. Looks amazing. Not really broken up. The white different plastics pretty much match up. But this is absolutely a win-win figure. The only nitpicks I have, I wish they had went with a silver instead of some of the gray, but it actually matches up to some of the artwork. But I just would have preferred silver, and I would have preferred silver on the gun. This thing is aesthetically a 9 out of 10 for what it's supposed to represent. Articulation wise, it could be a little bit better articulated, especially in the arms and the shoulders, but still not bad there. I give it like 7 out of 10 as far as articulation. If you're on the fence about this figure and you're looking for a green light, I say pick it up. But that's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.